This is the updated 2024 model year Polestar 2. It's got more power, bigger batteries and faster charging, and there's one big change that makes me wonder if this is finally an EV for petrolheads. This is the long-range single-motor model with an 82 kWh battery. It has 295 brake horsepower and a maximum range of more than 400 miles. It can be charged very quickly too, up to 205 kilowatts. You'll need a keen eye to pick out the 2024 model year Polestar 2. The only real visual difference is the new panel at the front, incorporating the cameras and sensors the car uses to read the road. It replaces the slightly daft false grille. I've always liked the Polestar 2 interior. It's just sort of achingly modern and simple and clean. Maybe a little bit austere, but I just like the way it looks and the quality is good. It hasn't changed at all with this 2024 model year update. So, all the architecture looks the same, the layout's all the same. What they do is sort of constantly do over-the-air updates for the software. So this has evolved all the time. The big screen is still fantastic to use. And of course, it's got Apple CarPlay, so what you find is that that's just what you use all the time. There's another big screen in front of you here where your map appears. It's a big, beautiful display, that one. The seats, though, I wish my driver's seat just went a couple of inches lower, and I also wish there was more thigh support. The base is quite flat. Otherwise, though, it's a good cabin. The previous single-motor Polestar 2 was front-wheel drive, and not much fun to drive because of it. But now Polestar has made one very big upgrade to this car. Its motor is at the back, making it rear-wheel drive. That might just be transformative, not least because the chassis has been completely retuned to make the most of the change from front to rear drive. It costs £49,000. It's lighter than the dual-motor model by 100 kilograms, but at 2 tons it's still no flyweight, not even close. One of the curious things about these Polestar 2s is that they don't have an on button. So the first time you get in it, you're sort of thinking, how do I make the thing start? But in fact, it's ready to go the moment you sit in the driver's seat. So you just have to put it into drive and off you go. It's brilliantly simple. I love that. Now, normally on these swanky launch events, you'll see me run to the front of the queue to try and grab the key to the fastest, most powerful, most expensive model in the lineup, because normally that's the one I'm interested in. But today, I've done the complete opposite. I've asked for the slowest, least powerful car in the range, because I think it might just be the most fun to drive. So what's this Polestar 2 rear-wheel drive actually like to drive? Well, it's brisk, for one thing. Properly brisk. It's not sort of violently accelerative the way the dual-motor Polestar 2 is. Of course, that car's got loads more power. But you put your foot down in this single-motor one, and it does go. It's properly quick. Particularly up to sort of 50 miles an hour. After that, the rate of acceleration does tail off. But up to 50 miles an hour, I'm sure you would need a very powerful petrol car to keep up with it. It's also lovely to have that rush of acceleration, all that torque come in at once. It's just fun to flatten the accelerator pedal and feel that motor shunt you off along the road. It's a satisfying feeling. I just enjoy it. And it's also lovely to accelerate in this car, feel the weight shift rearwards, which is what happens when you accelerate in any car, and know that the driven wheels are being squashed into the road. It's so much better than the previous single motor Polestar 2, which was front wheel drive, because when you put your foot down, it buries itself into the road and away you go. Silent running, that rush of acceleration. Yeah, I totally understand why people like EVs, apart from all the environmental benefits. I get it. But what I don't quite know is how popular these cars are proving to be among buyers. Are people buying them? And if people buy them, do they come back for another one? Whenever I want to understand what's going on in the marketplace, I talk to our car finance partner, JBR Capital, because They just get it. They understand exactly what's going on in the market and what buyers are up to. So this is what they told me when I asked them about electric cars. EVs are becoming more and more popular among JBR Capital's customers. In 2018, electric cars accounted for just over 1% of the company's finance agreements. In 2022, that had risen to almost 7%, but in 2023 so far, it's slipped back to around 5%. As charging infrastructure improves, EV technology gets better and awareness around environmental concerns rises, JBR Capital expects demand for EVs to grow and grow. We work with JBR Capital because it's a company run by petrolheads for petrolheads. Customers get a personalised service, not a one-size-fits-all approach. If you call JBR Capital today, you'll speak to an actual person who will let you explain your exact circumstances and what you're trying to achieve with a finance package. Click on the link on screen now to see what JBR Capital can do for you on the finance side before you buy your next car. JBR Capital is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. So let's get on to the stuff that really matters then. Ride, handling, steering, grip, and is this Polestar 2 actually fun to drive? So first of all, the ride. It's comfortable, it's good. It's not exactly limousine smooth, but it's not stiff and bouncy either. The steering is interesting. It's pin sharp, it's quite quick, super responsive, so it makes this car feel much lighter and much nimbler than it actually is. So you really point the front end into corners with confidence, place the car with confidence, and it makes it feel much more alert, much livelier than you imagine it's going to be, but it's completely numb. There's no feel. There's really no sense of the grip sort of building up through a corner. But it's not bad. Traction is massive. Of course, we've only got 2 driven wheels, but I haven't felt any wheel spin today. And the handling, it's really tidy. This is a heavy car, it's 2 tons. But because the weight is so low, because the battery is right down on the floor, it doesn't feel 2 tons. It holds itself together really well. The body control is good. It feels balanced in corners. I'm surprised actually. I'm really surprised at how keen and agile this thing feels to drive. Of course, when you have to get on the brakes really hard, or when the road does a lot of that up and down, that's when you start to sense how heavy the car is. But it's only in those extremes that you really feel it. Basically, this thing handles really nicely. It's got tons of grip as well. Dry road, it's quite warm. These are not particularly sporting tyres, but the grip is massive. It just holds on and holds on. So cornering speeds, if you want them to be, are huge. So this Polestar 2 gets along a road properly quickly. You can spank it along really fast. So you put that all together, you've got good performance, not kind of earth-shattering performance, but it's quick, you've got loads of grip, good handling, decent steering. It's an effective car, this. But is it fun? Is it fun? Well, let's have a conversation about that, shall we? It's definitely the most fun Polestar 2 yet. Way more enjoyable to drive than the front-wheel drive car, and actually for me, more entertaining than the four-wheel drive car as well. But is it exciting to drive? At the start of this video, I suggested this might be an exciting car to drive. I wondered if it might be an EV for petrol heads. Maybe it would be as thrilling, as enjoyable as a great hot hatch or a brilliant sports saloon. It's not that. It's not quite that. But it is something else. It's something subtler because it's enjoyable just to be in, just to drive. It's pleasurable to operate. I just like being in it. And of all the sporting family electric cars that I've driven, this one is definitely one of the best.